Hello everybody and welcome to this video. So in the next few clips you will see all the footage that I took on the Ride and Stride, which happened on the 12th of September. It was a brilliant day and I really hope that you enjoy watching the footage as much as I enjoyed cycling to all the places to take the footage. Now a few notes just on the off chance, on the offhand. I'm still new to using all this new technology. GoPro is completely alien to me. So although the picture is really clear, I was filming in a much higher resolution than perhaps some screens can support. So if there are flickers, which I know there are, please bear with me. I'm still learning all these technical things, and I will do my best to try and make better and better content for the Spiritual Voyages experience. But for the time being, I really want to give a shout out to the Historical Churches Trust, who organised the Ride and Stride. The work they do is so vital for preserving, and not only preserving, but making sure that people know the importance of looking after our historical churches. Many of them have been standing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and with their help, with the Historical Churches Trust's help, hopefully they will stand for many more hundreds of years. So really, it's a really fantastic day. It was great fun, and without further ado, please enjoy this footage.
Alright, so plans for today. Ride and Stride. So this is where you can visit as many churches as is possible. Let's see how many I managed today. This is the Church of St. John the Baptist. All the churches are having their doors open, hopefully, so we should be able to get in and see quite a few as we go along. Let's go and see how many we can find. Bike. Okay everybody, so the third church is, I believe, is the Church of All Saints in Lockinge. It's quite a long walk up to the church. I'm fairly sure this one's going to be locked. It usually is. Interestingly, I've been in here once before. That was the induction of the new vicar of the Wantage Downs. I will be very surprised if it is unlocked, but nonetheless it is the third church. The fourth one, we will be heading to Holy Trinity in Ardington. So there we go. Incidentally, much better footage than the Ocasso. Not surprising really, not surprising. You do pay for what you get. Okay, so Church of All Saints. Oh, look at that. Maybe it is unlocked. Let's have a look. Just have to... This is when you can tell you are in the English countryside, when you have to wade through sheep. Oh, it's round this side. Oh, bless them. Okay, let's have a look. So yes, as I was saying, incidentally, I have been in here once before. I literally have no idea if we are unlocked or not, but we shall have a look. That's fairly fascinating, isn't it? Okay, not that way then. And just close that. Okay, so like with many others, I should expect today, they have just left a sheet on the doorstep of the church. Never mind. It's a shame we can't go in, but we will sign the sheet and then off to Holy Trinity in Ardington. Alright, so church number 4, Holy Trinity, Ardington. This church is very special to me. Quite often after serving during the Mass at St. Peter and Paul's, I would cycle here to come and pray and meditate in silence. Now by the looks of it, it looks like there's just another table where you can sign in. So it doesn't seem to be unlocked, but never mind. Really, really beautiful church. And it was here a lot of the time I would contemplate on vocation, where I want to go in life. Just have a quick walk around. Be careful not to tread on anybody. So yes, it's not far away. From the other churches, and this is why we are quite blessed here, in that there's a lot of churches in quite a confined area. What I always love about this church is the spire, and we'll go back around. It is a shame that I can't show you indoors. In fact, I might insert some images in this video to show you, because it really is a beautiful, beautiful church inside. Really, really still and oozing with a holy atmosphere. It's beautiful. Lovely geraniums there. I love geraniums. Alright, so church number 5 and 6 will be East and West Hendred. See you there. Alright, so church number 5 now in West Hendred. Bike. So I have huge doubts whether this one is unlocked. Usually it is. Usually under normal circumstances it is. Oh. So. Well, that's a good sign. Let's go check it out. For the longest time, I knew of this church, but I could never locate it. And it bothered me for so long that I decided one day that I was going to get on my bike and I was going to cycle literally until I found it. It's one of those really old Norman style churches which really gives you a sense of our heritage and our Christian tradition. Not only that, but the numerous amounts of spirituality, the prayers, the meditations that have gone inside for hundreds of years. Truly, truly a beautiful place. Let's have a look, see if we're open or not. And it appears we are indeed open. There we go. Obviously there's lots of places where we cannot go. However, see what I mean about the atmosphere in here. Really, really beautiful. And the roof as well. Really just beautiful. To think of the amount of prayer, of meditation, of both sorrow and joy over hundreds and hundreds of years. truly, truly beautiful. Let's go over here and see what we got. So I think this is some of the historic information. Fascinating. All right. Grab a pen here. Sign the sheet. And then do the necessary bit. Alright guys, so on to the next one. Okay everybody, this is the Church of St. Augustine. I don't know if it's unlocked or not. I'm going to go with the default assumption of no, it's not. So this is church number 6. There is indeed a Roman Catholic church just down the road, which I will visit as well, for church number 7. What I've always loved about this church is this beautiful bell tower. And quite often, I'm not sure if they are pigeons or doves, but they have a flock of white birds that like to live in the bell tower. I've noticed that a few times I've come here. Really beautiful. Okay, so this is the Church of St. Mary. It's a Roman Catholic church. It is very, very close in proximity to the last church. So this will be church number 7. Now, I didn't realise this until just recently, but the section that you can see coming up here, where it crosses over the road, that was actually built because until quite recently, I think about the late 40s or early 50s, Roman Catholic clergy were not allowed to wear their vestments in public in England, and I should imagine other places in the UK as well. So to get around that, they built literally a bridge to where the priest resides. So a very fascinating place. I will literally show you how close in proximity this church is to the Church of St. Augustine. If you come along here, at the end of the wall, we should be able to see literally, there it is. There is the bell tower of St. Augustine. St. Augustine, St. Mary's. Beautiful. Right, everybody, I shall now go back and switch over the bikes, because the bike I'm using at the moment, where it is great for general purpose cycling, it only has 6 gears, so it's not great for long distance stuff or particularly up hills. I will pop into our sister parish church, which is Holy Trinity in Charlton. I shall see you everybody back there. Alright, so church number 8. This is the Church of St. John Vianney. I'm fairly sure this one's going to be locked, but we shall see. Oh no, what have we got? Okay, let's have a look. Nope, that is pretty locked. Okay, not to worry. Interestingly, I've been to one of their vigil masses on a Saturday. Very nice to see that the liturgy isn't that much different to what we practice as an Anglo-Catholic. Fascinating. Okay, so the Church of the Holy Trinity next. See you there. Alright, so this is the Church of Holy Trinity. It is our sister church of the parish church, so church number 2 of St. Peter and Paul. Again, I don't know if we are unlocked or not. I don't think we are. Never mind. I've been to mass here many times before. To say it's our sister church. Bike. That's going to become my catchphrase now, I think. Bike. You can see it's... I believe this church building was actually converted into a church. It is a very stunning example of a brick church. Slightly more modern than others, but still has a very blessed atmosphere. Okay, so I am going to head back and I am going to switch over the bikes, and then we shall head off to church number 10 and 11. So I shall be heading off in the opposite direction from here. We shall see where that takes me. One of the things which I have problems with is that I know so many churches, but there's so little time to go and see them all. So stand by to see some more. Okay, welcome back everybody. Bike. This is the Church of St. James in Dentworth. Again, I have no idea if this is open or not, but we shall have a look. You really get an old Norman castle style feel with this church. I've been here a couple of times before. It is a very beautiful area indeed. Let's see what we got. I remember when I was young, me and a friend would come here once upon a time. Aha, well, I think that's pretty conclusive right there. But they have a riding form. I shall fill that out, and then we'll have a look around the rest of the church. So even though we can't go into many of these churches, at least we can admire the outside of them. At least that's something. We are. It's coming round here. And there we go. And we've gone full 360. Okay, so wind's picking up. Now that that's done, I'll just sign off the sheet, say I visited, and then we'll be on to church number 11, I believe, which will be in Goosey, which is a really tiny village. Incidentally, these flowers, I really like these flowers. Beautiful. Don't know what they are, but they are very beautiful. Alright, let's continue on with the voyage. Alright, so this is, I'm not too sure which church or saint this church is dedicated to. This is the church in Goosey. Now, I believe this church is quite old, in that I believe long ago it was a chapel in which the local monks, before the monasteries got dispersed, before the Reformation, they used to tend to the geese in the local farms. And I believe even to this day there still is geese being kept in farms near here. But the style of the church isn't usual of English churches. It always reminds me, with the white plaster, it always reminds me of the churches on the continent, maybe places in Germany or places in Austria, these sorts of churches. I've been in once before. It is a very secluded kind of atmosphere. Wind's picking up. Very secluded kind of atmosphere. From the distance it can look quite eerie even. but once you go inside you get a completely different view. Anyhow, I believe it's locked by the looks, and there's the signing sheet. I shall sign my name, so I've been here. I think this is church number 11. I may have to lose count soon. Right, our next one will be in Stanford-in-the-Vale. Alright, bike. So, this is the Church of St. Denis in Stanford-in-the-Vale. A bit elusive, this one. I've passed it a couple of times before. Again, at this point I'm going to assume that all of the buildings themselves are locked. However, it doesn't stop us from exploring what there is to explore. Let's see what we've got. Oh, this looks promising. Or maybe not. No. Ah, there it is. Okay. Right, well I'll sign this one off then. So Stanford-in-the-Vale. Again, a very, very beautiful church. Look at that bell tower. Really beautiful. Again, you get a real Norman castle style feeling with this church. Okay, so the next one will be very soon and not too far away. I'll update you when I get there. Alright, so this is the Church of St. Faith. Always a really nice, lovely and beautiful church. And I always, when I'm cycling in the distance, look to the bell tower with the iconic tip to it. To give you a walk around. I actually found this church a couple of years back when I was out just cycling and exploring. And the church that I had originally wanted to visit was locked at the time. So I ended up taking a few detours and found myself coming along the road which leads to this church. So it doesn't appear that we're going to be able to get a look inside. It is a really beautiful church inside. I know I've said that with all of them, but it's really coming from the truth. It is a beautiful, beautiful church. They have the full box style pews. So for those who don't know what that is, they're basically enclosed pews with gates on. Very, very old, very traditional. Love it. And we come round the back here. I have to rephrase that. And we come all the way round full circle to where my marshal is. Okay guys, see you in the next one. Hello again everybody. So it appears that the Church of St. Faith is indeed open and we can go in. As you see, beautiful, beautiful atmosphere. Been here a couple of times before. Really nice stained glass. Just beautiful atmosphere all around. And this is what I was referring to with the box pews. Just, they close like that. Don't want to touch them too much. They close like that and it allows people to be enclosed within their pew of worship. Beautiful organ. And we turn around. Just an all over beautiful view. Lots of memorials in this church. Lots of memorials and plaques. When you go to these old places, you just imagine, you can allow your imagination to really go wild, and you can imagine just knights and saints and all kinds of people from hundreds and hundreds of years coming to worship here. Just absolutely beautiful. Righto, on to the next one. Okay, so we are in Charney Bassett. Very posh old English name there. This is a really tiny church. And see what we've got. Okay, so this is inside the Church of St. Peter in Charney Bassett. It's a very small church, but very, very compact and just a most holy and beautiful atmosphere. I've always loved that little passage that they have there. Interestingly, I've never been through here before. And we come out to the back of the church. Okay, so on our next trip we shall go to a place called Buckland. And yes, I did pronounce that right, Buckland. There are two churches there. One is the Church of St. Mary and the other is a disused Catholic church, which interestingly makes it more fascinating to me. I've always wanted to go in to see what's actually in there, even though it's disused. So onward we go. Alright, so we are now in Buckland. So this church here is a disused Roman Catholic church. It's always been locked, of course, well, since I can remember, because it's disused. So obviously we can't go in to explore it. However, because of the fact that it is disused, it makes me even more curious to know what it's actually like inside. Obviously the gate is locked and obviously there's no plausible way you can get in. Nonetheless, still a beautiful piece of architecture as it is. And one of the other things I noticed was the fact that the church is in what appears to be private ground. Look how big that private ground is. Whoever owns that ground owns a lot of money. Anyway, Church of St. Mary next, which is literally just down the road. See you there. Alright, bike. Church of St. Mary. Literally just down the road from the previous one. Now this church feels very much like the Church of St. Peter and Paul, church number 2, which is my home church, of course. Now I don't know whether this one will be unlocked. I've said that many times today. It has a very high church feeling, a very Anglo-Catholic feeling to it, this church. I have been in a number of times, so if it is locked, I may or may not, let's see how good my editing skills are, insert some video clips of when I've been in. Let's just have a look. And again, doesn't that just look like a beautiful Norman medieval church? Let's have a look. Well, there's the ride and stride. The paperwork, let's just see. Oh! Fantastic. We are open. Okay, so this is inside the Church of St. Mary. I say, I really love, just really love this. Really beautiful. Looks like we can't go in, never mind. Just look at the beauty of that. Really beautiful. To thee all angels cry aloud, Holy, 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 Lord God of the Sabbath. The noble army of the martyrs praise thee. And across the nave, we have this part of the church. Crucifix. Okay. Beautiful. So I say, very high church feeling to this one. It does remind me a lot of St. Peter and Paul in Wantage, where I serve. I love the statues of the saints along the back there. As you could probably tell, I was very, very surprised that this was open. I'm very, very blessed and very grateful that it is, however, because it is up there. Up there in the amount of beauty and the holy atmosphere of these places. Now, quite a lot of the time in Old English churches, I'll just point this out, this happens in many churches, but you'll see all the way through the ages, through the Reformation, through everything. They keep track of who was the priest or who were the clergy of the different churches. This ancient church has stood here for over 800 years. Week by week, Christians have come here to worship God and still do. This community, extending over the centuries, has left much for us to appreciate. Please take your time to wander around and soak up some of the history. We also invite you to be still for a while here and meet with God in prayer. Jesus has said that if we believe and trust in him, he will give us the power we need for life. How true, how true. Right, so everybody, on to the next one. All right, bike. This is the Church of St. Mary's in Bampton. Now this church's spire is absolutely beautiful. I have cycled past here many times. It has a very, very beautiful interior to this church. You shall see what we have going. Incidentally, when I've been cycling in the distance, quite often I would look for the spire when I've been on my journeys before. Okay, so this is the Church of St. James in Ashton. Another iconic spire, bell tower. Slightly more modern than Bampton, but still nonetheless a perfect and beautiful church to visit. I've got one or two more churches to visit, so let's see how we go. Okay, so this is the Church of St. Mary or St. Margaret of Antioch. I think it's St. Margaret of Antioch. The battery on my GoPro died. This may well be one of the last churches I visit for today. So the quality might be slightly off. Let's do the necessary bit. There's a bit of the history of the church. For those who want to pause the video and read that, they're more than welcome. And the church is actually unlocked, which is beautiful, which is a lovely thing. And just turn the lights on there. So again, with these churches, one of the most beautiful things is the fact that you can feel the amount of prayer, the amount of meditation, the amount of spiritual knowledge and spiritual life coursing through these ancient walls. A very, very special place. You can see the ceiling up there. Another one of the chapels. Now I believe this church went under some renovations, some preservations, probably the better word. So there's information in there about that. I don't know how well this is going to come out on the camera, but what I love is the fact that you've got the scene of the Last Supper. Of course, the Lord initiating the Eucharist there. Very, very powerful. I may visit one more, I may not. So there is another church after this one, please keep watching. If not, then I shall wrap this video up for the day. Alright, so on the way back I passed this church in Kingston Back Pews. Now this church is locked, even under normal circumstances I've always seen it as locked. However, it always is a very iconic church because of the dome that it has. What I mean by dome is at the top of the nave. I should imagine where the altar is. Go. Just follow it round. So I thought, as it was on my way back, I might as well make a small video. I am, of course, losing the light. It's starting to get quite late in the evening. Been going since 10 o'clock this morning, so on the way now back home to put my feet up and to enjoy and possibly edit some videos. Alright, so I was passing back the Church of St. James, so I was just coming back on my way towards home. I thought I might just pop by. You've seen the inside of this church before on one of my other voyages I have done, or I have been inside this church, but I thought it'd be a nice sign off, especially since I was passing through anyway. And I made it just in time actually, because the gentleman who took the record of the Ride and Stride was saying how I was just in time to be one more person than they had last year. So last year they had 15 people who passed through on the Ride and Stride, and this year, with the addition of myself, it was 16. So all is good.